Hey everybody, welcome to this week's vlog. That's a fun word to say. So this week I'm going to be talking about the five bodies of consciousness, and I wanted to do this in a video form because, as many of you know, I like to do this by using my hands. So when we're looking at wellness, we want to look at wellness on all of the levels of how we show up in the world. And it's really important to kind of understand how we show up energetically in order to understand ourselves physically. So we look at that through the five bodies of consciousness. Now, when we look at the five bodies, many of you have seen me do this. I'm going to do it now. Here's my hand. And here's the five bodies. They're not linear, but we're going to talk about them kind of using this linear structure. So at the top, we have what's called the bliss body. The bliss body is the level that is all one consciousness. So there's lots of words for that, and you can use any word you want to. There's spiritual words, and there's scientific words. There's quantum physics words. In quantum medicine, we call it the bliss body. So that's the all one. At this place, everything is one big soupy energy. It's just one big energy. And I like to say it's like if you can think of every possibility or potential that could possibly exist, it's a vibration or frequency inside the bliss body. I like to say it's almost like the ocean, and there's millions and bajillions and quadrillions, an unfathomable amount of water droplets in the ocean. And you can think of each one of those water droplets as an individual frequency or expression of that whole ocean, right? But the ocean itself is one big thing, right? So we got this, the consciousness. The consciousness is, it is all things. It is everything. And then as we become human, or we come into this reality, we start to drop into the other bodies of consciousness. So that funnels down, we become an expression of that consciousness. So we begin to express that, and we do that starting on our supramental level. Now, I like to say that the supramental level is the level of things like our archetypes and our personality charts and our astrology charts and our DNA and our Akashic record. It's kind of our unconscious, intuitive self. It's kind of like we're beginning to express, and it's our more global thinking. It guides our thinking patterns and things like that, right? So it's kind of who we are at this unconscious, bigger level, and then it starts to filter in to the mental level, right? So the mental level comes next, and the mental level comes next. And the mental level is our thoughts. It's our mind. It's how consciousness guides our mind, and it uses the filter of that supramental level, right? So we like certain personality traits or certain birth chart identifications will point us in a certain direction, right? So and it makes our mental patterning, it's the filter that our mental patterning comes through. And then when we think, when thoughts happen, they actually happen in our energy field first, and then we collapse them into our physical body. And we emote. So when we think, it moves emotion in our vital body, and it does that. So if you think about, like, thoughts are electrical, right? They're gonna emote. They're gonna move energy, and they move energy then in the vital body. So that's the next body down. And the vital body is the home of things like our meridians and our chakras, and these, it's the morphogenetic blueprint, the Rupert Sheldrake's work. So it's like this, it points us to how the energy moves in our systems. And it's also the reference for all of our emotions, right? Emotions, it's that energy movement. And then an emotion becomes a feeling in the body. So then we finally get to the bottom, and we have this physical body experience, right? So now at that bottom level, we're finally becoming physical in this 3D dimension that we experience with our senses. So this is what we can see, what we can hear, what we can touch. And that process is, I want you to think of that as like the densest energy. So if it's like it's collapsing and getting denser and denser and denser as it comes down through the fields, right? And then like so I like to tell people, like, the liver, the organ of the liver is still energy. It's just the densest energy of the liver meridian, right? So it's like, it's not really separate from, you're never really separate from that big consciousness. You're just an expression. You just keep expressing it in more and more and more physical ways, like it kind of collapses. And so when we have something going on, like an illness, then we're collapsing that illness on many of those levels, right? There's the level where we have it physically, for sure. There's a physical ailment going on there. But behind that physical ailment, there was also movement in the vital body, and there was mental patterning that created that movement. And there might have even been imbalances in our archetypes that created the mental patterning that then moved the emotion in a certain way. And then that's how we end up with a physical issue, or the DNA expression. So, when we look at the mental to the body, to the mind body connection, the way we think guides very specific brain electricity and brain chemistry. And then brain chemistry and brain electricity guide body chemistry and body electricity. And at that level, we start to control the proteins through those kinds of things. And protein production controls DNA expression. So we literally physically become our mental patterning. And then our mental patterning is viewed through that supramental lens, our belief systems and our intuition and our pre-programmed information, right? So when we're trying to heal an issue or work deeply with an issue, then we have to look at how we've collapsed that issue on every level, because every level there's a different kind of potential that could show up, right? And that's why it can be so individualized and things can be so different. So that is the 5 bodies of consciousness in a nutshell. Your quick and down and dirty way to learn these things. So I'm going to be demoing that. If you're interested in learning more about how we work with that for any particular reason, then we'll be demoing that Wednesday at 12:30. I hope to see you there. Bye, guys.